Hi there and welcome to Capital View. The relationship between the RSS and the Modi government has come in for some scrutiny. Who better to shed light on this relationship than RSS ideologue and BJP General Secretary Ram Madhav? Is it fair to say, as you said in a recent article, that there is complete harmony between the RSS and the government on national security, on social harmony, on education and on the economy? You said on these four issues, these are the ideological issues that drive the Sangh, and on these four issues there is harmony between the government and the RSS. Is that really a fact, or is it something you wish for?
Look, RSS works for the welfare of the society. Government has a role, so RSS has some views. RSS from time to time conveys those views to the government. RSS doesn't work for harmony between a particular government and its institution and all that like that. RSS views are there, they are conveyed to the government. As far as the present government is concerned, yes, as I said in my article recently also, generally the view after the 3-day meet of the RSS and allied organizations and the people in the government, basically the BJP, was that yes, broadly the direction is good, it is in the interest of the nation. That is the broad view. Now, if you ask me whether there is 100% harmony, 100% satisfaction, I would say probably that is not really fully possible.
There is no 100% satisfaction.
There will be some issues on which there will be greater expectations. People may want more, but broadly, yes, there is 100% satisfaction as far as the direction of the government and country is concerned. People are happy.
Is it fair to say that the RSS is taking over the cultural and educational aspects of this government?
Unfair.
Why do you say it's unfair?
Because simply it is not true. All these, whether it is culture or education or any other department or any other ministry, it is run by our government headed by Prime Minister Modi ji. There are people who have close links with the RSS. That is not a new thing now, it is well known to everybody, but the policies, the programs, the activities of the government are guided by the cabinet and the Prime Minister.
Let's look at the various bans that are agitating people. The meat ban in Maharashtra and all the other BJP states as well, the beef ban in Maharashtra. Now, is this an issue where the ideological proclivities of the Sangh are taking over instruments of governance of state governments?
Meat ban during certain religious occasions has been there in many states for many years. There is nothing new about it. And yesterday I have read in papers that even UP government has asked the shops to close down on that Jain festival. It happens. There is
no, but an
other
8-day meat ban that was asked for in Mumbai at the beginning.
It's a decision of the state government.
It's a decision of the state government.
Why link it to any other institution? State governments take decisions.
No, but how is it that all the other BJP states like Chhattisgarh, like Rajasthan, all
UP,
one after
UP
the other, after the other, all had this meat ban?
UP is not a BJP state, and I tell you, Sikkim has a similar kind of a ban. It's not a BJP government. There are many governments which take decisions based on certain social and local cultural reasons.
You've seen the CSDS poll which says that 69% of Indians are non-vegetarian. In this kind of situation, is it right? Are bans not against the spirit of the constitution which guarantee freedom of choice?
Such questions are raised before the appropriate institutions like the High Court. The High Court has given a judgment on that issue. Rather than trying to trying to implicate somebody else for a decision of the given government, discuss it, take it to appropriate people, appropriate authorities.
No, but the Supreme Court has now said you cannot force this meat ban down anybody's throat.
That's what I'm saying. This is the right forum. If Supreme Court says, that will be implemented.
But then does it require the Supreme Court to actually say that this is against fundamental rights?
Yes, on many issues. There are many issues on which in the interest of the larger interest of the public, governments take decisions. Sometimes they may go, they may be challenged.
But how is
in
it
the courts.
in larger interest of the public? How is this decision in the larger interest?
That's why
Isn't it dividing the people?
That's why I said there are so many such things. There is, as I said, there is prohibition in Gujarat. There is ban on religious conversions in 5 states, which was imposed by Congress party when it was in power. These are decisions taken based on certain local situations. Largely people follow it. Sometimes there will be issues, then courts take the appropriate decision. I am only saying don't drag other institutions into this debate. They are decisions by the government.
So it's not because of the RSS
Absolutely
that
not.
these governments are imposing these bans?
Absolutely not.
But isn't the RSS's cultural nationalism about these kind of dietary and cultural choices?
No, not at all. Not at all. Dietary choices, yes, in this country
Cultural
there are certain issues on which everybody, right from Mahatma Gandhi's time, people were opposed to Gohatya. It's not RSS specific. There is a in our constitution there is a directive principle. So if somebody raises voice against beef, fair enough. Those issues don't.
No, as you rightly say, Mahatma Gandhi was was a vegetarian, strict vegetarian, but he never imposed his beliefs.
See, this is a very funny argument. He said it because he is a vegetarian. That's not the case. Then he could have said that nobody should eat any meat. He only talked about banning cow slaughter in this country for a very, very fundamental reason, not just religious alone, but it's a very big economic, social reason. That has to be understood.
So you don't think this is a pursuing of the RSS's cultural agenda in these meat bans? Is there a cultural agenda? Is there a RSS cultural agenda in the meat ban?
See, RSS is a big public organization. It has every right to have its own agenda. As far as governments are concerned, governments are guided by their own wisdom, they follow their own rules and guidelines. Don't link these two. You can't tell me that RSS should not have a cultural agenda. RSS has every right, just as you have an agenda.
Yes.
When you do shows, you have an agenda. Similarly, RSS has an agenda. That you can't say. Government, as I said, yes, governments take decisions. If they are not palatable, people go to appropriate institutions.
No, but when there's a conclave between the government and the RSS, then isn't the RSS laying down its conditions? Isn't the RSS imposing in a way its wishes?
Firstly, tell me what do you mean by government? This government has 67 ministers. There was no government RSS conclave. There were 10-12 ministers there. Even when they were not ministers, they used to attend those conclaves. It was a conclave where RSS and its sister organizations come together. There, some BJP members also go every time. They went this time also. So, firstly, correct it. It was not an RSS government conclave. It's our RSS and its Parivar conclave. There was no discussion about governance. There was no discussion about any rules, regulations, or decisions to be made by government. There was discussion about larger national issues. RSS and its organizations gave their viewpoint. People who happen to be today in the government gave their view.
Let's come down to the culture minister, Mr. Mahesh Sharma, who recently has created controversy by saying that even though APJ Abdul Kalam was a Muslim, he was a patriot. Isn't this a divisive agenda that someone like the culture minister is having, even though he's also a member of the RSS, of course?
I think that his whatever, first of all, I have not seen it first hand. I mean, I have read it in the papers only. That one of his statements was has been made into a controversy. I don't think he meant anything bad about either Muslims or about Abdul Kalam Sahab. Probably he stated Abdul Kalam is a thorough patriot, he loved India.
No, but he said even though he was a Muslim.
Only in that context. Beyond that, anything about that controversy, you have to ask only the minister.
You know, is there also an agenda? And you're absolutely right, the RSS has every right to have its agenda and it has a legitimate right to pursue its agenda. But in the pursuit of this agenda, is history to be made a casualty? I mean, when you say that Aurangzeb Road has to be renamed and has to be made into APJ Abdul Kalam Road, then how far back in history are we going to go?
So many Angreji British memorials were removed. So many places
but that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it right.
What do you mean? So, your agenda you can pursue when you want, and when somebody else says that some road has to be renamed and it should not be done in this country, how many places were named after Gandhi family? Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru. You have named them after these great leaders. There was an agenda to pursue that. How many projects were sanctioned in the name of Gandhi family, Indira Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru family? You had an agenda behind that. Here, in this particular case, there was no RSS interference. You must remember, this suggestion came from a Canadian-based Pakistani scholar by name Tariq Fatah. He wrote to the Prime Minister, why do you want to continue with this name? There were so many British names which were changed after independence, because we thought that this country will have some patriots in TVs and in otherwise who will say that those who have oppressed our country, who have played havoc with this country, its history, its people, we should not have any memorials for them. British must have had.
Absolutely right that the road should be renamed.
Absolutely right to rename that road as Abdul Kalam.
Because Aurangzeb was a bigot and
Aurangzeb was a bigot is what history says,
right.
Not we.
So it's absolutely right to rename the road.
Absolutely right.
Okay, you spoke about Gandhi and Nehru. Do you feel that the Nehru Memorial Library and the entire legacy of Nehru has become the property of the Gandhi family, and that's the problem?
So far that has been the case. They are run on the money spent by the government. It's the government's, that is the money of the ordinary people of this country. So those institutions have to be answerable to the whole country. They cannot be pocket borrowers of any one family.
But is the RSS trying to erase the legacy of Nehru?
See, if somebody is great, nobody can erase his or her memory. It will remain. You all have tried very hard to erase the memory of many great leaders in this country. You could not have done it. You could not do that. Nobody can do that. By history is something that people cherish.
Right.
No institution, no government can erase history. I am saying we are trying to tell people about the entire gamut of history, not about just one part of history.
But if you look at the ICHR and the ICSSR and all these scholarly bodies, we find that there are people there who have links with the Sangh, and Amartya Sen is saying that there is a kind of takeover of these bodies by people who are loyal to the RSS. Is that right or is that wrong?
See, when an institution gets people appointed in its as its functionaries, their qualifications are seen. As far as we are concerned, that's how we go about it. If they happen to be RSS having some links with the RSS, we do not see it as a disqualification. RSS is an organization that is pursuing a very patriotic agenda in this country. As far as those institutions are concerned, to become a functionary in that institution, being an RSS member is never going to be a disqualification, but he has to be qualified to lead that institution. If he is qualified, if he is capable of heading that institution, you people have used to stop them from becoming important functionaries in those institutions. But we are saying, yes, if they are qualified, let them run those institutions.
Again, I come down to the culture minister, because he's been making statements that the Quran and the Bible are not part of the soul of India and only Gita is the soul of India and the Ramayana is the soul of India. Should such statements be made by a minister? No,
see, Gita is the soul of India is the statement made not just by Dr. Mahesh Sharma.
No, but why should he?
For ages, for decades, many big people have said it. And I would say with pride that Gita represents the very essential moorings of this nation.
No, but should you then say that Quran and Bible are not the soul of India?
No, I think that he is being misquoted. He is being misrepresented. So many great books have come in this country. Why are you asking only about two? Why are you not asking about Guru Granth Sahib? Why are you not asking about Bhagavad Puran? Why are you not asking about 10 other religious books in this country? They are all important in their own respect. But if somebody says Gita is the soul of India, why are you so much uncomfortable about it?
Right. Now, Madhav, as feisty as ever, let's take a short break at that point and come back with lots more on the other side on economic reforms. Will economic reforms split the Sangh? That's after the break. Welcome back to Capital View. We're talking to one of the most influential voices in the public realm today, BJP General Secretary and RSS ideologue, Ram Madhav. Economic agenda. You mentioned in your article that the government and the Sangh, which is an ideological family according to you, are completely in sync on economic agenda. But is this really the case?
When you go down to the details, as I said, largely the direction everybody appreciates. This government is dedicated to the welfare of the poor. Many programs that it has taken in the first 1 year are for the welfare of the poor, but there are certain programs on which there were differences in opinion, I am saying.
So there are serious differences of opinion.
Yes, difference of opinion from even organizations close to us like Kisan Sangh, etc. Then we sought their inputs, we collected their opinion, we passed on to the government. Government has tried to accommodate all their concerns also in the reformed agenda.
No, but isn't it true that the land acquisition bill had to be rolled back? The ordinance had to be rolled back because of the opposition from the Kisan Morcha.
Because of only one reason, Sagarika, I am telling you, because of one reason, that we lack numbers in the house. We have
nothing to do with opposition from your own Kisan Sabhas.
There were opposition, all their opposition, all their criticisms, all their complaints were accommodated in the reformed amended bill, but then Congress was hell-bent on not allowing it to move forward.
No, but if you look at the promise that Mr. Modi has made of ease of doing business, opening up to investment, make in India. Now, how far is the Sangh on board with this kind of neoliberal economics?
You must understand, because I am from the Sangh.
Yeah.
Sangh has broad views on policies that they should help the country grow, they should help the common man on the street benefit, they should help strengthen our economic sovereignty. These are broad views that RSS will have. RSS will never get into the minute details of it. We are happy that we get inputs from various diverse groups which support us on the larger issue of taking the country forward and give us inputs on details.
No, but the style of Mr. Modi's economic agenda, he is seen as a neoliberal prime minister. How far would the Sangh be willing to cooperate on this kind of neoliberal labor reform, ease of doing business, Sagarika, inviting FDI? I mean, doesn't the Sangh have serious misgivings about all these priorities?
Our government headed by Prime Minister Modi is sincerely committed to the welfare of the last man. We have our own way to deal with that issue. We want, investment on one hand, but also government's focus for the uplift of the poor on the other hand. Both we want, we can take both along.
But what you're saying is that there is a possibility of disagreement, but these disagreements have to be constantly negotiated.
So that is the function of any government.
Right.
Whether it is social groups like the RSS or the political parties, there will be disagreement. The duty of the government is to, take everybody on board and try and move forward. That's what we are trying to do. But some parties are hell-bent on not, cooperating with the government.
Okay. Is that the understanding between Modi Sarkar and the RSS, that on economics we'll give you a little bit of room if you give us the room to move on culture and education? Is that the deal? Give us culture and education and you can do the economics.
Look, RSS is not running any business that you will enter into an agreement with the government. I do this, you do that. That is not the way RSS functions. For RSS, only touchstone will be interest of the people, interest of the country. If it is not in the interest of the people, RSS will air its opinion, views freely. Nobody can stop it. We don't want to stop it.
The notion of the Hindu Rashtra, when the VHP does programs like Ghar Wapasi and all these kind of issues, I mean, is this? Don't you find that all these issues are socially divisive, and that there is a certain Hindu majoritarianism which is being imposed?
Ghar Wapasi is an extension of religious conversions. If you want to debate on a special show, debate the entire issue of conversion, religious conversions. It is a large debate, not just limited to India alone. Remember, this debate is happening all over the world.
But how can you forcibly do Ghar Wapasi and expect people to come back to
Absolutely. That's what we have to discuss. If there is any forcible conversion happening, if there is any forcible Ghar Wapasi happening, in my view, this issue should not be debated just because you don't like Ghar Wapasi. You should not discuss Ghar Wapasi. Discuss the whole issue.
Okay.
Then there are views. You have to accept those views.
The opposition to Westernization, that is part again of the cultural agenda of the Sangh. Now, how can this opposition to Westernization be reconciled with the needs of a modern government? Because you see the Prime Minister traveling the world, you yourself are traveling the world, yet you're saying, no, our culture has to be protected and we have to safeguard against Westernization. So, isn't there a conflict there?
No conflict. In fact, that is the biggest problem with you all. Every country tries to stop the influence of any other country on it. Westernization and modernization are two different things. You can be modern, you need not be Western. What Westernization denotes? A particular way of life that is practiced in a particular geographical area. If it suits, a part of it suits you, take it. If a part of it doesn't suit you, have the guts to say, you know, I don't want it. But be modern, be liberal, be open. These two are two different things. We are not against modernization. We are definitely against the idea of Westernization in this sense.
You're that I am
only called modern only if I behave in a particular way, or if I dress in a particular manner.
What is your definition of
in
modern?
This dress, I am modern.
What is your
definition?
Not Western. But what is your definition
of
modern?
I am saying I am as liberal, as open-minded, as democratic as anybody else in the world. I am modern.
Right.
These values I imbibe from my own culture. I don't need to look to any other country for these values. Then I am modern, but yet I am not Western. I can dress in this manner, you can dress in this manner, yet you can be modern.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with that, which is why I wear the sari all the time. No, but
so I give compliments at least once in the show, you see.
No, I just want to, but you know, the murder of these rationalists that is happening, of Kalburgi and Dhabholkar and Pansare, isn't this something we should really be ashamed of?
Absolutely. Any death for any ideological reason, any murder for any reason, not just ideological. Ideological is worse, but any killing, any murder is bad. Whether it is Kalburgi's murder or an atheist murder or anything, we fully condemn it. But you know, you only you only try to link everything to a particular school of thought. That is wrong. That school of thought never supported killing of people. It only believed
in. But the person who has been arrested belongs to a Hindu outfit called Hindu Sanstha.
Punish him.
Okay.
Absolutely, go for it. That state unit of the RSS, before so and so person was arrested, had issued a statement that culprit should be punished. Right. We should punish. You know, nobody has the right to take the life of anybody else for any reason.
Right. You know, just as my very last question, are there too many conflicting views here? You know, you have your views of cultural nationalism, the Sangh's views of education, the Sangh's views of culture. On the other hand, you have a government, a modern government. He's trying to bring business. He's touring the world. I mean, are you trying to create a marriage of conflicts? Because there seem to be too many conflicts here. How are you going to harmonize this whole Sangh Parivar? You say it's ideologically united, but is it?
It's absolutely united. At the ideological level, we are all one. At the policy level, we welcome dissent, we welcome different voices.
There
we
is
try
dissent
and
at the
see
policy
reason.
level.
There can be. That's why I said, when a policy is promulgated, there can be voices of dissent. We take them on board, we understand their concerns, we try to accommodate them. In fact, I see a bigger concern in all of you because you don't find much to complain about. Unlike earlier, there is larger, you know, kind of mutual understanding, interaction, larger effort to keep everybody's views in a sort of a coordination is in a much better way. We are able to coordinate with different Parivar organizations.
Is that what you try to do?
Yeah, absolutely we are trying to do. We have to do because we consider we have to do because they are all very respectable organizations.
Right.
And their views matter to us, I am telling you, on record.
Just my very last question. There's a lot of misgivings about this. Is a Hindu majoritarian agenda being imposed on India at this moment?
Totally wrong. We have said it many times. There is no majoritarian, minoritarian agenda being imposed on this country. This country is run by a government elected by the people. That government is working for the welfare of the last man on the street.
Right. And
organizations will have agendas, media can have agendas, individuals can have agendas. It's a democracy. Allow them that space. Don't pounce on them. If they have a view, let it be discussed.
Ram Madhav, as feisty as ever, thank you very much for joining me on Capital View. That's it on this episode. We're back next week.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.